So we're back. We're back with Captain Ibrahim Traore. He's speaking to a lot of young Burkina Faso. They're gonna ask him a couple of questions, so we're gonna follow this before we start. Our own opinions, judgment, desire, and self-identity are the things that are within our control. It is interesting to take note that the things that we can control are all in the realms of our mind. Our own opinions, judgment, desire, self-identity are the things that are within our control. I'm going to say this again. Our own opinion, judgment, desire, self-identity are the things that are within our control. But the rest we cannot. So let's go to Ibrahim Traore. We're going to see what the young leader, what he's going to say here. He's going to speak to a lot of young people. Let's hear what they're going to say. Let's go, Captain Ibrahim Traore, the leader that is trying to free the young generation, Pan-Africans.
All right. Hello, everyone, and thank you for being here. I must say that I am moved, first of all. It's also the first time that I have met child journalists with such unparalleled public speaking skills. Congratulations to you. It gives me great pleasure, and I think this will be a moment of exchange between us, and that you will be able to learn many things from it, just as I, too, will learn many things from you.
Thank you, Mr. President. We are also happy to have this moment with you. Could you tell us a little about your childhood and your professional career before becoming president of our country?
I was born in a village called Kera, which is located in the Boucle du Mohun region, where I spent part of my childhood, but mostly a large part of it in Bondokui, which is about 15 kilometers from Kera. My childhood, I didn't necessarily grow up in a financially well-off family. And there are many things that one must understand as a child, especially when growing up. What is most important to remember, and this is an opportunity for me to thank parents. At your age, it's not obvious, but when I was in your shoes, what I remember most from my father was at the end of every month when I would see him with his slate calculating. But later when I grew up, I understood what he was calculating. It's difficult when you have a salary and must figure out how to feed, clothe, care for, and send your children to school. It's difficult when you have a salary and you have to figure out how to feed the children, how to send them to school, how to care for them, how to clothe them. So those were the kinds of calculations he was making. So this is to tell you that parents worry a lot about us. They fight for us, and you cannot imagine how much. Many of you, when you grow up one day, you will understand. For us, we had to grow up to be able to pay tribute to our parents today. There is also something I learned from my father, a phrase he would always tell us at home: execution before complaint. Because he was also in the military before later becoming a nurse. We obeyed him immediately and did exactly what he asked us to do. And even if we did not want to do it, you had to execute the order first, and later you could make your point understood. There are a certain number of values that our parents instilled in us. First, concerning integrity, honor, and dignity. These are important qualities and values we learned with them, and they truly forged us, and perhaps even allowed us to become who we are today. As I said, my parents were not necessarily financially comfortable, but that is no reason to go begging. It is no reason to whine or to go lie or steal. It was forbidden, strictly forbidden. So there are a certain number of values that, even though you may not be well off, you must embody. Solidarity, for example. We were always taught to share with others. And I think there were times when perhaps we were not on the same page. We were children, we did not understand why our mother, you know that in the village, other people's children can come and spend a year, 2 years with you to study or what have you, those who leave the smaller villages and come to the city. So when she would give us 2 cakes, perhaps she would give 3 cakes to the other child. And for us, well, as children, That made us a little jealous. Why don't you give us the same amount? Why even take better care of someone else's child than your own children? She would always tell us that you will understand when you are older, the day you are perhaps no longer by our side. When you are grown, you understand. And we also learn to share with others. That is what we were forged in. And me in particular, I did a lot of household chores, what one might call girls' chores. I would help my mother wash her dishes, sell her donuts, and everything. People may have made fun of me, my classmates at school, but for me, it was a way to support her. Because it is not easy to see her get up at 5 in the morning, every day, to make her donuts before going to school. During recess, I was the first one out. I would run to her spot and help her sell her donuts. My classmates could make fun of me and all, but I helped her however I could. So that's kind of what marked my early childhood. I found myself free at 14 years old. And when I say free, I truly mean that I found myself all alone in Bobo, completely free to do whatever I wanted. But you're not a child just because of your age. It's really all in your head. And from that moment on, I understood that I had to take my life seriously. Because when I say free at 14, you're free to do whatever you want. You have the choice to be lazy, to stop working, to stop going to school, but also the choice to keep going, to persevere. Because since primary school, you might be told that I was always first in my class, but that wasn't for nothing. Because my father, he didn't play around. He took all his time to teach us at home. And on the weekends, if he gave you a math problem or some operations or a dictation and you didn't get it right, you didn't get to eat breakfast. So that's a little bit of how things were, but it forged us and it made us the men we are today. And we hope to be able to live up to that and to pass that on to you, the children here. And I think that every parent should give the best of themselves. And you too should be grateful and recognize the work that parents do to care for us, to take care of you. So that's a summary, I would say, of my early childhood, how it went and what we experienced. What about your professional career? I must say that there's one thing. Today I am the head of state, but I was, how should I put it? I went through primary school, secondary school, and university, just like everyone else. But the love for being a soldier has always been inside me. As I said, the old man was a soldier before he became a nurse. Ever since I was a child, his combat boots, his heavy helmets that were at home, I would wear
Discipline.
them. So I know that he knew I had a love for the profession. But my mother never wanted to have a child in the military.
But you can see the way Ibrahim Traore is talking. His father gave him discipline. His father disciplined him because he was in the military. So he gave that discipline. You can see the way Ibrahim Traore, the way he carried himself through discipline. The way he carried himself, you can see he has discipline on him because it came from his father. At home. It starts at home. Education is always at home. At school, it comes after, but at home, you can see the way they direct him. And that's why you can see he's the man that he is right now. Let's go, Captain.
And in 4th grade, I took the excellence competition. And in 5th grade, my teacher wanted me at all costs to take the entrance exam for the Britannique. But my mother was fiercely opposed. She had surely seen my father suffering as a soldier, so she didn't want any of her children to be in the military. She refused. I kept on working hard. I have a scientific inclination, which is why I followed a scientific track all the way to university, where I studied geology. After my baccalaureate, I wanted to join the army again, but she refused. But when she refused me something, I couldn't force the issue, because if you force it, it's not right. So I continued. During my master's year at university, I asked her again. I told her, it's the army I want. I was doing well in geology. I could have done whatever I wanted. There you go. I had many scholarship opportunities because I wasn't at the bottom of my class, There you go. But it was during my master's year that she finally gave me permission, and I took the academy's test. I went for my training, and I became an army officer. I was convinced. If she gave me her blessing, if she told me to do it this time, then I was convinced, and I knew what I was doing. This is to tell you that, as I was saying, at 14, you find yourself all alone in a big city. It's not easy. I was at the Lycée Mixte de Dakarville, for example, for secondary school, but I was living in Sarfalao, which is about 7 kilometers away. But I'm telling you, I walked for a good while. Morning and evening, I would walk there and back.
Wow.
Until maybe a friend of an older brother lent me his bicycle. But I believed in what I wanted. It was, how can I put it? For us, it's a conviction. It's what our father taught us since childhood. As I told you, he guided us, and we always wanted to be better. And so we never gave up. The goal was to always be better at school, and that meant nothing could lead us astray. And with the education we received, even if we didn't eat, that's no reason to get discouraged. Yes, because those 3 years of secondary school weren't that simple. It was a bit difficult. 1 meal a day, very often, but that's okay. I cooked for myself. I did everything myself. But I had to stay focused on the objective. What kept me going was that at the end of the term, I had to get a certain grade, and that was it. So that's what guided us, if I may say so. Does that satisfy you, or should I go into more detail on certain points that you...
No, thank you.
Oh, man. Can you see that? His father was a man of honor, he did really guard his children, and he gave Ibrahim Traore, really, you can see discipline. I keep saying this, I'm gonna keep repeating this. Parents, we have a big duty when it comes to our children. Our home education is the key factor that we're trying to misunderstanding. If you're thinking your children, they'll learn better outside, no. Outside is to make them to experience life. If you give great education to your children at home, when they're outside, that experience, whatever they had at home, that guardiancy from home, it'll make them to be great people. The experience that they're gonna have outside and the lesson that they're gonna have at school is gonna make them to be great people. But if we parents were letting our children running around like wild animal, we don't even care what they're doing, we don't ask them, we don't guard them. Trust me, failure is just like you parents, you failure after failure. Can you see what Ibrahim Traore said? My father was in the army, and after that he became a nurse, but my mother didn't want me to go in the army. He said it all. I was really good at school. I had a good grade, but you can see he followed his father. My idea, my mind was just to be in the army. Mainly children, they reflect us. If you have a failure parents, majority of the time, your children, they're gonna be a failure. Because parents, they reflect the children. Children reflect parents. I'm not saying all the time is like this, but majority of the time is this way. What you see is what you became. So that's why it's very good to guard your children. There's no excuse. Listen to him. He said, one day, one meal. Can you see how difficult that it was? I'm saying this, you guys might think I never experienced all of that. Yes, I have. I am African. I have experienced all of that. Starvation and the struggle. I experienced all of that. The walking long distance of mile. I experienced all of that. I've done that. I've been there. What he said at 14, you're freely. We've been there as well. 10 years old. It's not easy when you're growing poor, struggling. It's not easy. But the one thing that can guard you is education at home. The discipline that you're going to receive.
You are absolutely right. Many have been forcibly removed from school because of this phenomenon that brings us grief. I think that for this school year, we were still able to reopen many schools. But I must say that our ambition is to be able to create modern schools. Modern schools in the sense that we must first create real communities where we can establish all the socio-professional structures. And school is part of that. We think every day about creating modern schools. Because today there are many villages that people cannot return to or that people had to abandon. Currently, people are in certain centers, We have created a framework so that they can study, but that is not the best setting for us. So we want people to return to the major centers, but we also want to create modern schools. That is, schools where children can truly thrive. It's not about having a classroom with, 100 or so students, which is quite overcrowded, and where instructors have a hard time teaching. Otherwise, that situation already exists. We have set a number of conditions, but the objective is to truly to build modern schools. This year, we have already been able to build a few schools in certain cities. It's true that people may not have this information, but perhaps the report will be made soon. Schools were built even before the holidays in certain centers where there have been many displaced people. But the objective, when we bring people back to their schools, is to create new schools where children can learn and truly flourish. So that process is also underway. We have opened many schools for this new school year. So many students have gone back to class. Many centers that were closed have reopened. But we are in the process of building new modern schools so that the children can study and have, the same opportunity.
Yes, as we heard, what are you going to do about the school closing because of the terrorism that is happening? Because a lot of villages in Burkina Faso, they've been running away because of the terrorists. So it's really a big job that Ibrahim Traoré, he need to really focus on to get rid of the rebel. It's not easy, but he need to put more force to do that, because people, they lose in their village, they lose in their house, drag a lot of people away from places. He carry on to trying to do good job over there, because it's not easy for him. He need the people behind him. He need more soldier. He need more weapon. He need to be smart, because number one, the enemy, they are watching, because the enemy, they want Ibrahim Traoré to fail. The enemy is the people that looks like me and you. That's the problem. The battle is at home and outside. Do you know that's not easy? When you're trying to do something great for your people, the first people that they're gonna have doubt for you, they're gonna battle you 0 to 20 or 0 to 10 is the people that they look like you. And you have the people that they want to colonize the rest of the Africa. They are watching and they're all involved because they want to get your resource. They want to get what you have in your country. So they're going to pay anyone anything to get rid of you. So imagine being Ibrahim Traoré, 37 years old. It's not easy for him. All eyes is on him. He trying to make the country to be better. But people, they're going to keep coming, more terrorists, they're going to keep coming so they can try to, assassinate Ibrahim Traoré. It's not easy. We're thinking what he's doing over there it's not easy. But I like what he's trying to do to create more visionary people. You need to bring more children involved, get children involved so they can see, let them ask questions, make them understand, give them something so they can learn. You do that is the best way to do it. But if you're focusing a lot in the old generation, trust me, nothing can get better. What Ibrahim Traoré is trying to do with all of them children, we need to develop a lot of things as people, as African. We need to come together, because look, the more we come together, the better it is for us. We cannot be apart from each other. But African people, we like this. We like to sell our own people. I would love for y'all to subscribe, like. I will catch you guys to the next one. Peace.